Of you, myself, E. Banu Prasad, working as an assistant professor in EC Department, Vijnan Nirmala Institute of Technology and Science for Women. And today's section, we are going to discuss about the topic of half-wave rectifier. A simple block diagram of the power supply that we are connecting to the rectifier circuit. Here, the first block is a transformer. In this transformer, there are two types of transformers are there. First one is a step-down transformer and a step-up transformer. So, transformer means it will transform the voltage, the distribution of the voltage without changing the frequency. And mostly we are using in these rectifiers, half-wave rectifiers only. And the transformer circuit will be followed by the rectifiers. And these rectifiers are three types of the half-wave rectifier, full-wave rectifier, and bridge rectifier. And after the output of the rectifier is connected to the filter circuit, generally we are using for these filters RLC combinations, and low pass filter we are connecting in the circuit, and the output of the filter will be connected to the regulator, and the output of the regulator will be the regulated DC. And circuit, rectifier means a circuit that converts AC voltage of main supply into the pulsating DC voltage using one or more PN diodes. But in half-wave rectifiers, we are using only a single PN diode. This is the diagram for the half-wave rectifier. So first of all, we are connecting that a sine wave signal, that is 230 volts AC signal, to the input of the transformer. And this transformer is a step-down transformer, and the distributed voltage of the transformer without changing the frequency will be given to the diode input and diode input terminal of the anode, and we are connecting a load resistance RL to short circuit the rectifier circuit. Here the input signal is ESM into sine of omega t, and here omega is angular frequency, that is 2 by f, and f is the power supply. And they are coming to the operation of the half-wave rectifiers. So first of all, the input voltage, whenever the input AC signal will contain a positive half cycle and negative half cycle, and that positive half cycle, whenever the positive half cycle rises towards the anode of the PN diode, then the diode will be connected in the forward bias. The diode will allow the positive half cycle, and whenever the negative part of the or negative cycle of the input signal is arrived at a diode anode terminal, so then the diode will be in reverse bias, so that part will not allowed by the diode. So finally, if you see the output of the half-wave rectifier, the output will be only a positive half cycle of the given input AC signal. And these are all the waveforms of a half-wave rectifier. And so the first one is the given input AC signal. So with the period of 2 pi. So whenever this 0 to pi, whenever this cycle is reaches the diode anode terminal, then the diode will allow that signal, and whenever the pi to 2 pi part is arrived diode anode section, the diode will be reverse biased, and the section will not be allowed by your PN diode. So the output of the half-wave rectifier will be present only 0 to pi and 2 pi to 3 pi and 4 pi to 5 pi only. In middle of the section will be eliminated due to the using of single diode, and from pi to 2 pi part the diode will be in reverse biasly connected. So here the calculation part of to calculate the average DC load current, and the load current we are calculating at the resistor that we connected in half-wave rectifier is IL is equal to Im into sine of omega t, and this omega t is 0 for 0 to pi, and the omega t will exist in between the pi to 2 pi. When this omega t value rise in pi to 2 pi, then the load current will be 0. If the omega value rise in between 0 to pi, then the IL value will be Im into sine of omega t. Here Im is the current of your diode which is coming from the connected AC input signal, and here Im, we can say the Im is the peak value of the load current, and the calculation of the DC current will be calculated with the help of the given equation, that is 1 by 2 pi integral of 0 to 2 pi. Here 0 to 2 pi means the total time period of the cycle, into the load current IL and into d of omega t. So we can rewrite this equation with when we substituting the value of IL in the IDC circuit, that is 1 by 2 pi integral of 0 to 2 pi Im into sine of omega t into dt. And with the help of when we solving this integral equation, we will get the value of DC load current is equal to Im by pi. So that value is called the average DC current value, that is called average value, and the value of Im is lies in between the amplitude of your AC input signal divided by the total resistance, that is diode forward resistance RF and plus the load resistance RL and the source resistance RS. DC voltage, and the formula for DC voltage V equal to I into R, that is the average DC voltage we can calculate with EDC is equal to IDC into RL, and this IDC, when we substitute the value of IDC is equal to Im by pi, the given EDC value, we will get the equation of so EDC is equal to Im into RL divided by pi. Here RL is the load resistance, and the value of Im by pi we can write that that is IDC value, the total voltage ESM divided by the total resistance into pi, that is RF into RF plus RL plus the source resistance RS into pi into RL. And but here the RF and RS are very small compared to the value of load resistance, so these two terms will be neglected. Then the average DC voltage can be measured as and the calculation numerator and denominator RL value will be getting cancelled. Then the value of EDC equal to ESM by pi. So next part is the calculating the root mean square load current, that is RMS value, where we have to calculate, and the formula for this RMS value is square root of 1 by 2 pi integral of 0 to pi, because your PN diode will allow us only 0 to pi value only, so that's why 0 to pi into Im into sine omega t whole square into d omega t. That is the formula for load resistance. So when we solve this integral equation, we will get the RMS value of the current is equal to Im by 2, and the RMS load voltage, that is ERSM, will be equal to ESM by 2. So this is DC power delivered to the load. So the formula for the power is equal to the product of current into voltage. So that is EDC into IDC, and that value is equal to I square into DC into RL, that is the square of your DC current into the load resistance, and here the DC, the overall DC power output delivered to your load is equal to Im square divided by pi square into RL. So this is the AC input power from the transformer will appear at the secondary part of the transformer, and the power input taken from the secondary of the transformer is the power supplied to the three resistance, that is RL, RF and RS, namely that is load resistance and diode resistance and winding resistance or source resistance we are calling. For this the AC power supply is given, that is PAC is equal to I square M divided by 4 into the total resistance RL plus RF plus RS. And how the efficiency of the rectifier to calculate, see the efficiency of the rectifier is dependent upon the rectifier efficiency parameter, that is eta, and the formula for this eta is the amount of power DC supplied to the load divided by the amount of the power AC delivered to the load. That is generally the efficiency formula is output by input. For the rectifier section, the output is DC power and the input is AC. So we are calculating this eta value, that is power efficiency, by taking the ratio of PDC and PAC. And next one is ripple factor. Ripple factor means how much amount of AC parameters or how much amount of AC is available at DC output. To find that AC components, we are using this ripple factor, and the formula for the ripple factor is RMS value of AC component of the output divided by the average or DC component of the output power, and we are indicating this ripple factor with the value of gamma. For half a rectifier, the efficiency value is only 40.7 6% only. So it means in the given AC input signal will be converted only half amount of the signal is converted into the DC. Remaining half amount of the signal is not converting into the DC. So to avoid such a problem, we are using the full wave rectifiers or bridge rectifiers to improve the efficiency of the half wave. And if you calculate the ripple factor of the half wave rectifier, the value of your ripple factor for the half wave rectifier will be 1.211, and when we substitute the value of RMS root mean square current and IDC values in the formula of ripple factor, we will get this gamma equal to 1.21. So this indicates that ripple component of the output are 1.21 times the DC component, that is 121.1% of DC component. Here the ripple factor is very high, therefore the half wave rectifier is a poor converter of AC to DC. So this value also we can minimize with the help of the full wave rectifier and bridge rectifiers. And here the half wave rectifier is the basic part of the half wave rectifier is the basic part of your rectifier circuits. So here the efficiency is 40.6%. We have to improve that efficiency with the help of the full wave rectifiers or bridge rectifiers. Similarly, we have to minimize the ripple factor value 1.21 to as much as low with the help of the half wave rectifier, with the help of the full wave rectifier and the bridge rectifiers. And these are all the drawbacks of half wave rectifier. As we discussed now, the maximum efficiency is only 40%, ripple factor is 1.21, and it indicates the half wave rectifier is a very inefficient rectifier. So thank you.